Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Nishmas for everybody that's behaving now. Appreciate it. Rafal Polter. Oh, you know what? Before I go into the emails, a very, very special thing happened to me yesterday. You know, there's Chaburas Shas Yidden. It's about 100 koil guys in Eretz Yisrael, and I think it's like 5-6 koilim or something. And these are guys that finish Shas every year, and they know Shas cold. And they had, if you go on YouTube, they had Reb Chaim fahiring them. They have all sorts of people fahiring them. And last night, Reb Mordechai Zrachi, Gedalya Rosh Yeshiva's 94-year-old Rosh Yeshiva fahired them, and they asked me to fahir them. So I fahired them. It was an amazing, amazing experience. But of course, I had to do it MDY style. They didn't know what hit them. I started off nice and easy, and all of a sudden I pulled out my pictures. I go, what's this? What sugi is this? What's that? I'll show you some of the pictures later on. It was good times. So it was a very big zechus. I wasn't shocked. You know, my chavrusa is one of those, and we have one of their guys, the ybl'c learns in their koil in the afternoon. So I'm kind of used to it. But it's just, it's incredible, the minds that these people have. And some of them, I asked them afterwards, I said, is there anybody here with a normal, average brain? And a lot of them raised their hands. I said, Nusa, give me some ideas for Chazara. I got into it with them. I'll give you an example. I said, where in Shas is there 44 words in a row that end with a nun? And they all start screaming. They knew where it was. Where in Shas is the 7 words that in our Masechta that end with a nun? The kids are, they start with a chaf. Kedirim, kesirim. But whatever, cool things. Here, in our sugi over here, it says Barpada. So I saw that the archwell says that in Me'ila, Daf Daled, it says that Bar Kapara is his uncle. So I said, who's Barpada's uncle? Bar Kapara, how do you know? Me'ila Daf Daled. They all scream, Me'ila Daf Daled. And they all have a microphone, and they scream together. It's crazy. So it is taped, and I brought 2 guys to tape it for us. We have to show. I want to show a little bit of. I did a few questions on today's daf just to see if they're holding in today's daf. Also, it was unbelievable experience. The amount of Torah that these guys know. They're young and just every year they chazer shas every year. All right. So the email, Rafal Polter. I'll get into a little bit because just this week our in-house artist started working for us full time, Yoshi, and in 24 hours he produced 10 amazing drawings. Mamish amazing. I have to show you what he did. I told him, you made a big mistake. You never produced that much on the first day, because now I can hold you to it every single day. Good morning, Reb Eli. I'm a Rebbe in Boston and teach this week's parish in the 3rd grade. As you're teaching the daf, Chav Ches, Umoitzev Sfasav Stab, a knip from Hashem, we read about the brachas of Yaakov Avinu, and it says, Ani. However, he thinks in his head, Esav Charecha. One thing from his mouth, another believe. As always, I can't say enough to you, the entire crew of MDY, for all that everyone does. It makes such a matzav. I started the daf alone with brachas and joined the shir at the beginning of Shabbos. That's huge. Thank you for all your Mesiras Nefesh and being my Torah. Rabbi Sai here, if you have sound over there, because this is the Chevra, the New Yorkers getting together you heard how I said it, getting together in Brooklyn. And the most important part of this is what one guy screams out after they say, good morning, Rabbi Sai, only in New York. Good How you doing? My name is Leyb Sternberg. First time I join religiously as a Vivamis and enjoy Shurim daily. Sometimes on my daily commute to Muncie, top floor of Shem Shabbos, or comfort in my dining room. I do another program besides Daf Yomi. I was going to give up the daf when Vivamis started. This is too tough doing myself, and some suggestion I tried joining MDY. Yossi the plumber happens to be a close friend, and all the other characters you hear, all the other characters with you hear him along, helping to master the Masechta. So v'yishkoyach to you. I attach a picture of RH53 Hill Kornblue, caught red-handed doing the daf with you in the Muncie at Sol Garage. It's an honor to belong to this wonderful family. Thanks, Leyb, friend of CR 108, Molandy CR 06, Shlomo Goldenberg, and part of our security detail at ybl'c. I didn't put the picture in. Okay. Maybe Yosef, you'll throw that picture in. Real quickly, I want to read this because this touched me. You mentioned the story about a parents that walked their daughter to the bus stop on Shabbos 5 years ago. My daughter started slipping away right under our nose. There's nothing we could do to keep her in our Messiah. We're giving her unconditional love. I gave her her own bedroom, gave her a smartphone and Wi-Fi password. She sat in her bedroom for most of 24 hours. My wife, that is much firmer background than myself, didn't know how to swallow it. This is a Hasidic Yid. I know him very, very well. It came to a point that I told my daughter, she was only 16 years old, that whatever she wants to do, I'll be glad to take her there. If it's the movies, hanging out, dating, etc. And she took me up on it a couple of times. Baruch Hashem, right before she turned 17, she snapped back into family life. She went back to school, and a very short time later, she got engaged at a very young age of 17 and a half to Gewaldige boy. The night before their wedding, she played for us a song that she recorded in the studio about her life, and thanking us for being there for her. The encore of the song was that which father would drive his daughter to go hang out with boys and girls that had terrible influence. She continued saying that it came to a point that she couldn't hurt a father anymore that showed her so much love to the daughter. Anonymous. All right? That's the idea of Kesher Nafshi. And I asked him, I said, did you go to Kesher Nafshi? He said, no, this is 5 years ago, before the whole Kesher Nafshi thing came out. Okay, so I guess we're going to have to... I'm going to skip all this because there's not enough time. Just do this. This is a 10-second one, real quickly. This is for the Miami Seal. Yeah. What do you want to tell later? Which one? Who? So we have to say Tehillim. There was a terrorist attack right now at the entrance to Yerushalayim. There's a lot of people injured, so we're going to learn l'schusam, l'fuasam. The Koilel sponsored Leilu Nishmas Chaim Bas Yosef. The second sponsor of the Koilel, may we always be able to support Torah, and may the Torah protect us from any harm. The Masechta sponsored Ein Zgula Torah, Ein Tומכיה כיעקב ויעל. The Parnas HaChodesh, Jeff Rosner, Leilu Nishmas' son, Yosef Simcha, Chaim, zechurah levracha, ben yibal Chaim, Shlomo Yehuda. The second Parnas HaChodesh, Dr. Avrum Epstein, in memory of my dear departed loved ones, including my recent yizkors. Parnas HaChodesh, Leilu Nishmas b'tzlאל ben Moshe, Leilu Nishmas zechurah ben Moshe. Parnas Hayoim, Gedalya Rapoport, in loving memory of Eliyahu ben Leyb's Yahrtzeit. And I personally want to welcome all the new participants, and a special welcome to Yitzi from Teaneck. You know who you are, so welcome to the shir. All right, Rabbi Isai, after shir was over, a couple people came over to me and said, we missed 2 lines here, so we got to go back, unfortunately. But it's a very short daf, so we'll do it really, really quickly. We're talking about the neder in the Mishnah. So, a person says, Karban. These fruit should be kadosh if I don't kata. Says the Gemara. You can turn off the volume for now. Shkoyach. Heichi nadar. 4 lines from the top. We'll just go over quickly because we did it. Omar meimar. Bo'omer im einon niktzatsis hayoim. If the Gemara's question is, how do you make a neder? Eventually they're going to come off the tree. Every fruit comes off the tree. If every fruit comes off the tree, so it's not a good neder. So the answer is that he did a neder just for that one day. It's possible that it won't come off the tree that day. It's possible it could come off the tree that one day. Therefore, it's a good neder. Because it's dependent on one day. It's not dependent on the life of the tree. Because if you go by the life of the tree, the life of the fruit, obviously it's going to come off the tree. And it came, the day went and it came and went and didn't come off the tree. So therefore, it's a good neder. Of course, it's a good neder. What's the chiddush? We're talking about that there's a very, very strong wind, and I got carried away with the joke about the strong wind. But the point is, there's a very, once we're saying, I did not think about this before, but a guy was moisef to the joke yesterday on Zoom. He said, but somebody came over to another guy and he said, Mazel Tov, I heard you had a fire in your building. He says, shh, it's low key now, it's going to happen next week. I'm not going to skip the same time. My finger's on the spot. Can't control myself. Yeah. In all my years, I had a couple of fires, and they're very profitable. They are like there's a yetzer hara there, but they all happen in one property and one thing. It's like it's a headache. It's a headache. Okay. So what's this? The answer is there's a big wind, and since there's a big wind, you have a certain gemiras das. You make up your mind already. You think, oh, there's such a big wind, the fruit is coming off the tree, and then it didn't come off the tree. So I would think because what's going on in the world right now makes you think a certain way, and therefore you made your neder based on that. And it shouldn't be a neder if those circumstances didn't happen. You're such a big wind, you're anticipating it to fall. And only because of that you made a neder. So maybe it shouldn't be a neder. Kamashmalon it is. Ask the Gemara, but it doesn't make sense. Vaktani law, this is where we missed. Vaktani law gabi talis. I explained it without saying it inside. Vaktani law gabi talis. The talis is Reivakaima. Because the talis is Reivakaima. I mean, it says it together. There's fruit and there's a talis. Now, okay, you're telling me there's a wind. Great. But what about a talis? Well, there's a fire about to burn the talis. Yes, that's what we have to say. We must say that there's a fire standing there heading towards your talis. And Memela, since that's the pshat, by a fire, by the talis, that's why we have to say that's the pshat, by the fruit. So now the Gemara explains that so he thought there's no way the fire is going to consume my talis, the wind is going to blow off the fruit. And only because of that he made a neder. Nevertheless, it's still a neder even though he made a mistake in the neder. Okay, so now this is where we're holding. Hare netiyas ha'elu karban. So the guy, the second part of the Mishnah is, he says, Hare netiyas ha'elu karban ad shikatetzu. I want my fruit to be kadosh, a karban, up until the point where I take them off the tree. So what happens before that point? And what happens after that point? After I make it kaddish. Let's think about it for a second. I make it kaddish. My fruit, my apple is kaddish. And then I take it off the tree. Does it become non-kaddish now? Does the kedusha just go away because I gave it a limit? I said it should be kaddish up until this point. By the point I take it off the tree, it's not kaddish anymore. And then what? So it becomes ice kedusha. Could I tell my wife, I'm mekadesh you? It's similar up until next week. Does it work? So let's see inside. Says the Gemara. Hare netiyas ha'elu karban. Ulaylam. And then it says, but look at the last words, and the top, the three last words, or the three first words on the Amud Beis on top. You can't redeem it. Says the Gemara says, what, you can never redeem the fruit? The kaddish forever? What's going on? Why can't you redeem? Every fruit that has kedusha, you can redeem. Shalom Aleichem from America. Says the Gemara, Omer Bar Pada. Who's Bar Pada's uncle? Vakapara. Mamish geniuses, look at this. Shas Yidden.
16 minutes.
Huh?
16 minutes.
I do have to say that less people answered Bakapar here than over there, and you just heard it now. Okay. Pada says Bakapar. What happens is very, very interesting. Pidan. Chayzis v'kaychos. Pidan chayzis v'kaychos. Achi katitzu. So, if, let's say I take my fruit and I say, this should be for the Beis HaMikdash. Okay? It's for the Beis HaMikdash. I can't use it. It becomes kaddish. It has kedusha, inherent kedusha in it. Kedusha is damim, it's called. Okay? It's monetary kedusha. I can't put it on the mizbeach. You never put an apple on the mizbeach. It's actually osir. But it's kaddish for the mizbeach. So, if the Beis HaMikdash, if the Beis HaMikdash wants, the gabe comes, sells it, transfers it into money. Anybody could come along and pay $2 for the apple, take the apple, eat it, and the money stays kaddish. but I could do a pidyon. I could redeem it. So what happens over here, though, he says specifically, I want this to be holy and kaddish up until I take it off the tree. So he's only going to take it off on Thursday. He comes on Sunday and redeems it. It's redeemed for a fraction of a second. And immediately it becomes kaddish again, because he stipulated it should be kaddish until I took it off the tree. He didn't take it off the tree yet. He's only going to take it off the tree on Thursday. So he redeemed it, it becomes kaddish. He redeems it again, it becomes kaddish again. Somehow, somewhere in there, it's able to redeem itself for a millisecond, and then become kaddish again. Niktetsu. But what happens, says Bar Pada, once he takes it off the tree? Poidon pamachas v'dayoy. He must redeem it, but only one time. After he takes it off the tree, it doesn't become non-kaddish on its own. It's like a woman, you have to give her a get, okay? You have to do something, you have to take action, and then it becomes non-kaddish. Okay? Mefurish, you have to be poidus as Bar Pada. Now, very interesting here, the Ram brings a Rashba that a tremendous chiddush. I'll ask you, what if a guy stipulates and he says, it's to take this Gemara, things that we're not so familiar with, fruit on a tree, like whoever picked the apple off a tree. But if we could relate to it more in this Rashba. I'm not saying everybody holds like that, but the Rashba throws out this zug. A guy owns a condo in Miami. He owns a condo. He tells his friend, I'm selling you the condo until I make Aliyah to Eretz Yisrael. That's his lashon. I'm going to Eretz Yisrael. I'm selling it to you until I move to Eretz Yisrael. Once I move to Eretz Yisrael, I need it for my kids, whatever it is. I'm selling it to you until I go to Eretz Yisrael. Meanwhile, he's stuck in America. He's stuck, he has a good business, he doesn't want to leave. And he says, you know what, I need the condo. So he goes and he buys it off the guy. But he stipulated, I'm selling it to you until I go to Eretz Yisrael. But he bought it back from him before he went to Eretz Yisrael. What happens to the condo, Reb Eli? Based on this Gemara, based on Bar Pada, it goes back to the guy that bought it. He gave him $1 million for his condo. Very good. It became his for a millisecond. And then it goes right back to the seller. Just like if you redeem this apple, it becomes redeemed for a second, it goes right back to the Beis HaMikdash. There's no difference between Beis HaMikdash and a house. I'm saying that's how you have to take learning and somehow bring it to something that's relevant to us. If you could do it, sometimes. As I zog the Rashba, Vula Amar, Barula argues, Kivin sheniktetsu shuv ein paidon. Says Ula, since he stipulated specifically and said it should only be kaddish until a certain given time, that time came, and now it's not kaddish anymore. He took it off the tree. The Kedusha just dissipated. Where in the world did the Kedusha dissipate to? Kedusha is here. You can't just evaporate. You need to take a Kedusha and transfer it from the apple to another object, to money, to something else. It cannot just dissipate. You could eat it if you're a Kayan, let's say, or whatever the halach is, but it can't just disappear. I'll give you a mashal. It's a beautiful story. There was a guy who was very, very poor, and he went over to the Gvir in town, which reminds me that I haven't davened a whole bunch of times in Hasidic places, but I remember being there once and I saw that minig there. There's a few guys in the Kesher Nafshi convention, you saw on them that they had ADDDD. Davening wasn't 100% their thing. They weren't like the type of guy that could sit and daven. So what they did is a beautiful thing. They had this thing of tabak, and they were running around from the entire davening. They're going, you want tabak? You want tabak? The whole entire time, from person to person. And there's two of them. So I saw this, like it's a zach. You go around the entire davening. Like if you didn't get once, you had to get twice. It's a whole, you want this one, you want that. Pile the pie in each. Okay, Bekitzer. This guy, this ani comes, he goes to the usher, says, give me some tabak. The usher says, like, who are you, b'chlal? Like, I don't talk tanim. You're below me. Kitzer. This rich guy loses everything, loses all his belongings, and the ani somehow, he started making it big. He started growing in business, and he became a big shot. So the guy, the rich guy that became poor, went to the Rebbe, and he said, "What's going on here? I'm very poor. This, that." So he said, "Tell me." Kids, they came to this story that the Rebbe said the reason is because once upon a time, this ani came to you and he asked you for tabak, and you didn't give him tabak. The Baruch Hu then decided he's taking all your nechasim and giving it to him. So the guy's like, "Oi, what do I do?" This is very simple. You go to him, you ask him for tabak. If he doesn't give you tabak, then you get it all back. So the guy says, okay, he has patience. He's not just going to go to him, stam and shul, and ask for tabak. Of course he's going to give it to him. He's going to wait for the best opportunity where he's not going to give it to him. When is that? At his daughter's chasana under the chuppah. Daughter's chasana under the chuppah. He's sitting there, and it's only him, and his mishpacha, and the mechubed with the third bracha. All of a sudden, the guy shows up, and he says, he pushes, he says, "I need a shtickle tabak. You have tabak?" So the guy goes, yeah, I have tabak. And he takes out of his pocket, in the middle of the chuppah, and he gives him tabak. He starts screaming, "What are you doing? I don't want you to give me tabak. Shugana." He says, after the chuppah, he tells him, he says, "Listen, the Rebbe said, if you don't give me tabak, I get my money back." So the guy said the guy really felt bad for him, and he set him up, and he gave him a good job, a good parnasa, v'chulu. What do I learn from this story? I don't know if it's it's Ma'aseh Shahaya. You see, you can learn big zacher from this. You learn b'didi. Don't be a koifer. It's Ma'aseh Shahaya. What? Kedushas Levi. You see that? You see that? Even our Litvak, Reb Delinsky knows it's Kedushas Levi. So you do a digazach. He's not a Litvak. He's a crossbreed. You know what? We're all crossbreeds. We came to learn there's no such thing as Hasidim, no such thing as Litvaks. So, I told you already what I asked the Belzer a few days ago. In the middle of my story, I asked them, I said, "What makes you Hasidish?" I don't understand. You learn more than any Litvak. You daven less than the Litvaks. What makes you, because you have the long payas, that makes you Hasidish? And he says, I've been saying this for years. I'm not Hasidish and you're not Litvish. It's a big mix today. I said, when was the last time you learned Hasidish or Sfarim? I said, I don't. He just learns Gemara. So he learns more than a Litvak, and he calls himself a Chassid. It doesn't make any sense today. Just the whole. And he has a Rebbe. So okay, fine. Yes, he has a Rebbe.
Have a Rebbe.
How often does he go there?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
That's the reason.
Fine.
That's it. You had a Rebbe, that's it.
Let me get back to the story. The bottom line, you see from the story that according to this story, the money is in the world. It's here. He has it. He doesn't deserve it. It goes to him. It doesn't just dissipate. So mainly you can understand. Now you can understand the sugi of Gedusha. Oh. The Gedusha is here. If it's not here, it goes over here. He doesn't deserve it. This apple doesn't deserve it. It'll go into this money. Yeah. We're going. Okay, Nachman wants me to start. Okay. Zog the Gemara. No, I said it straight out. I told him to edit it. If a person tells his wife, "I'm only being mekadesh you for a week," she doesn't just leave after a week. He has to give her a get. So there's a guy that saw in his resume here. I'm starting, and then that's it. After this, we're gonna learn.
Seriously, you want some tabak? You can walk around the room, give tabak to everyone.
I'm serious. That's it. After this, we're gonna learn.
You don't have to learn.
Look at me.
Walk around and give tabak. Here you go.
This is short. It's short and sweet.
Yeah,
a guy sees on the resume. It says about the girl. It says she's a great girl. She's a great housekeeper. She's this. He looks at it. What state? But after he got divorced, he got what it meant. She kept his house. She's a housekeeper. She went from guy to guy. She goes. Mi nafke b'loy get. Or malay rava. Mi komedam is dushas dom dushas haguf. Says the Gemara. What are you comparing here? We're talking about Kedushas Haguf. The Gemara calls Kedushin. In Kaddish a woman, there's a certain Kedusha, it's an inherent Kedusha. Kedushas Damim is only the monetary value. The actual apple is not Kaddish. It's only Kaddish for its monetary value. You can't say the same thing about a woman. Kedushas Damim Paka Bichdi. the kedusha of the monetary value just dissipates for nothing. Bichdi, for nothing. Paka, it expires. What's a good word for paka? It dissipates. It doesn't explode. It expires. I don't know what. No, this has to be a better word. It depart. That's what the article says. He says departs. Okay, depart is good. I like depart. But if something is inherently kadosh, it cannot just dissipate and depart. What are you saying? We see that Kedushas Gduf could dissipate and depart. If a person takes an animal and says this animal should be an oyla. An oyla is what? Kachim. It's the highest level of Kedusha. It goes on the Mizbeach. The Kohen doesn't eat from it. It's Kulul Hashem. So if a person says this animal should be Kadesh for 30 days. And after 30 days, it should drop a level. Go down to Kachim Kalim. Go down to a lesser degree of Kedusha. Kachim Kalim, you could eat. The owner could eat it. You could even eat it outside of the Beis HaMikdash. Lesser Kedusha. Kol shleishim yoyim oyla lachar yoyim shleishim yoyim shlamim. Says the Gemara. So what happens is, after 30 days, it actually transfers. It goes from being an oyla all the way to a shlamim. In other words, you see, Bai says, you see that the Kedusha is poikea b'chdi. The Kedusha of the oyla dissipates, departs, and it's transferred to another type of Kedusha. No, so I just want to say, the kasha is obvious. He's asking, Abai is asking him, Rava says that Kedusha Guf is not doesn't just depart, and over here you see Kedusha Guf does depart. But the Ran goes into, maybe by a woman is different, that even Abai will admit that by a woman it's not poikea b'chdi. He has a tzad to say that maybe Abaya holds that even by kiddushin, you mekadesh a woman for 2 days, and after 2 days, boom, without a get, she goes away. Says the Gemara, Amai, and how does it work? This animal has inherent kedusha of oil in it, and all of a sudden it departed after 30 days and became a shlamim. Even in such a case, now of course, if it goes from shlamim, not of course, but even from a shlamim to oila, you would say the same thing. You'd see the same idea. It departs and becomes something else. But over here, certainly, when it departs and goes to a lower level, goes from kachim to kachim kalim. Yeah. It literally departs and goes. No, you misread it. We're not, or misunderstood it. We're not talking about Kedushas Haguf, where the animal is inherently kadosh. We're talking about that somebody donated an animal and said, he used the word oyla. I admit, he used the word oyla, but didn't say that this animal is an oyla. What he said is, use this money to purchase an oyla. Okay, it was a shvach animal or whatever it is, but it's worth something. I'm donating this to Beis HaMikdash, so the Beis HaMikdash could buy an oyla. Well, says the Gemara, now, in the end of the Bryce over there, it says the opposite. That after 30 days, it should be an oyla. And from now, it should be shlamim. Now, I'm telling you 2 cases. If you want to tell me that the 2 separate cases, 2 different cases, one is talking about Kedushas Damim and one is talking about Kedushas Haguf, great. That's why we have 2 separate cases. I would think Kedushas Haguf, since it's inherently Kaddish, it doesn't just dissipate, it doesn't depart. Kedushas Damim Pag B'chdi. And therefore, I'm telling you two separate cases. Ella, okay, sponsor, as a zechus, to continue being able to support Torah and to finish Shas with Reb Eli, for Shlomo, Baruch ben Sarah, Ito Yudas Bas Mindel, Latzlachas ben Yamin ben Ito Yudas. Now, but if both cases are the same case, what do I gain by saying two cases? If from the oila it goes down, L'Kedusha Kala goes down to Shlamim, Paka, M'Kedusha Kala, L'Kedusha Chamura, Sricha L'Meimar. So certainly it should go from a Shlamim to an Oila. If it goes from an Oila, it's a very, very high level of Kedusha. And I say that after 30 days, it changes its status. It goes from very severe Kedusha to a lesser Kedusha. So certainly, I know by myself that I could take an animal and give it a little bit of Kedusha and add to that Kedusha, make it severe. Why not? So what do I need two cases? So because I have two cases, it's very obvious to me that one case is talking about Kedusha as Damim, and one case is talking about Kedusha as Aguf. And you still see that Kedusha Aguf could depart. Okay. Shkoyach. So, who's that a kash on? That's a kash on Rava, who says that Kedusha Aguf, it doesn't depart. And we were talking about Kedusha Damim, but Kedusha Aguf is different, it doesn't depart. Now the Gemara says, okay, but once we say that, there's another thing that we could say. That's also a question now, once we establish this, that what? That the Bryce is talking about two separate cases. We're also talking about a case of Kedusha Aguf. And Kedusha Aguf, by the way, you can't redeem Kedusha Aguf. If you have an apple that has Kedusha Damim, I can redeem it. But an animal that's about to go on the Mizbeach, it has inherent Kedusha, no one could come over and give the Beis Hamikdash $5,000 in return of the animal. The animal was always Kaddish. Right? We even have a Tmura, that if you try to take the Kedusha from this animal and put it in a second animal, they both become Kaddish. You can't take away the Kedusha from this animal. But nevertheless, it became a different type of carbon. It went from an Oila to a Shlamim. So you see that it's Poikeya Birdi. The Kedusha dissipates in the parts by itself. And that would be a kasha on who? On Bar Pada. The Omar, loy poka Kedusha B'Gdi. Bar Pada says that you can't do that. Over here you see you could be Pogea Kedusha B'Gdi. Omar Apapa. Omar Bar Pada. I can explain Bar Pada. Achika Omar. I'm just going to explain. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to explain. But very different than what you understood. He's not saying that the Kedusha dissipates in the parts. What he's saying is the opposite. It cannot dissipate and depart. That's what it says here. How do you read it? He's telling you a chiddush. He's saying that a person could say, he could put his animal on a timer. He say, look, in 30 days, this animal will change from being just a normal animal grazing in my backyard to being an oila. Okay, that's a chiddush. It's a carbon on a delay. Now, if after I say that, I say this animal's on a delay. In 30 days, this animal is going to turn into an oila. And then I say something else. I say, but until that point, it should be a shlamim. There's another chiddush. It cannot become a oila. Why? Because right now, it turned into a shlamim. And once it's a shlamim, it cannot turn into an oila. But that's a major chiddush. How did I have a right to make this a shlamim? I already said that this animal is going to be on a delay to be an oila. So I'm telling you a major chiddush here. Even since it's on a delay and it didn't grab yet, so I could go in there and insert a shlamim in there. It becomes a shlamim. And once it's a shlamim, now it cannot become an oila anymore. That's what it says here. You read it wrong. You didn't understand it. It's not the pshat that once it's a shlamim, it flips into an oila after 30 days? I'm telling you, it cannot flip into oila. I'm just explaining you why. The reason why you can't flip into oila after 30 days is because you went ahead and you made it a shlamim. Had you not made it a shlamim, it could become a oila after 30 days. I can make karbanos on a delay. So we have a few chidushim here. You can make carbon on a delay.
You could change what you said you're going to do, yeah?
No, you can't change. Oh,
Yeah, that's what you're doing.
like what?
So you said before, if the guy takes the house, you can't, and he wants to buy it back, then it goes back to that guy.
But it's different because over there, in that case, he already sold the house. It was already done. Over here, it's not oil yet. It's not oil yet.
He's
What?
supposed to get it back when he goes there to Israel.
Right, but he didn't go there to Israel.
Fine, but you see, you could change a thing in the middle.
He didn't change anything. What did he change? Over there, he sold the house on a condition and he didn't keep the condition. So you have to keep the condition.
Change the middle.
Let's do this again. A guy says, I want this animal to be an oila in 30 days. Is it an oila right now? Yes or no? What is it right now? It's not an oila.
In 30 days, it's going to be that.
In 30 days, but right now it's not an oila. Right now I could ride it, I could use it, I could shear its wool. It's not an oila. Okay, so it's not an oila. Now, do I have the right to take this animal that's not an oila and make it a shlamim? I would think not. Because I promised I'm going to make it an oila in 30 days. The answer is you could. And because it's a shlamim right now, and the shlamim can never go away ever, according to Barbada, the kedusha is loy pekea bechdi. You can't just dissipate kedusha. The kedusha doesn't depart anywhere. So Mamela, it remains a shlamim forever. And if it remains a shlamim forever, what I said before I made it a shlamim, that it should turn into noila after 30 days, doesn't happen. Because it can't. It cannot become a noila. Major chidushim over here. I think it's major chidushim. Okay? Fine. I mean, there's a lot of ran here. Leizu avzu. I'm saying one chiddush, then another chiddush. Okay. No, breira would be when you say it together. These should both happen together, and one happens over the other. That's breira. Over here, there's a certain. It's happening in one after the other. It's not breira. Midi dahava, says the Gemara. Did I skip? I don't want to go back in the sugi tomorrow. All right, Papa. It's a great. For any other magichir out there, if you ever see that the daf is 6 or 7 lines long on both things, what you do is you skip 3 words on the daf before, and then you have to go back the whole sugi, and then you kind of because the other trick to say a bunch of stories and jokes doesn't work. I saw today. That Dailam wasn't so happy with. Okay, the first one they didn't chap. Slipped it in, did a whole sugya, weiter. Omar Papa, Omar Bar Pada, Hagiga Omar, Eliyahu Mach Shlomo, Mach Shlish, Mida Dahava, Ha'omer Leisha Iskachli, Lachash Lishimyon. A person tells a woman, there's a murder sugyas here, Givaldic ideas. If a person tells a woman, you become married to me in 30 days. Mikudesh. The Mukudeshas. She remains Mukudeshas. The Avapi, Shezachlo Amois. I don't know what he wrote here. Okay. So now he gives her money today. He gives her a ring. He says in 30 days, this ring should be chal in 30 days. And even though she spent the ring, she doesn't have a ring in 30 days, she's mekudesh. So Mamela, the same idea by Oila. I could say, this Oila, you see right now, it's not Kaddish. We're not married today. When do we become married? In 30 days. This Oila, you're not a carbon today. When do you become a carbon? In 30 days. Says Gemara, Pshita. So, I just want to say the Ran real quickly. We have a few minutes here. The Ran says, but what's the connection between Kiddushin and a carbon? By a carbon, you don't say anything. You don't do anything. You're not giving money. Nobody has money here. He said words. He said, this animal should be an oil in 30 days. By a woman, he gave her money. There was a kinyan. She got something. She got money. So what if she used it up until she got married? But he gave her something, and she owes him that money in 30 days. So in the hana that she had from that money, after 30 days, that makes the kiddushin. But over here, he just said words. He just said words, and he brings a very good right just to understand the question. What if a person was mekadesh, a woman with a shtar, and in 30 days, the shtar should be chal, and the shtar was burnt in the 30 days? Is she married or not married? What do you say? Says the Ran, she's not married. She doesn't have a shtar. So shtar is similar to words. Words, shtar, nothing. But money, He gave her $1,000. She owes him $1,000. So what? She spent it, but she owes him $1,000. So she's mekadesh herself with $1,000 that she got 30 days ago. What's the connection? So the Ran says that's the yisod that the Gemara is going to say right now in a minute. That the Gemara knew this yisod. The what? Amirasoi legavaya kimisirasoi lehedyot. There's a big yisod in kachim, in hegdish, that when you say something, is as if you gave something. So you're right, it's just words, but it's not just words. In kachim, words is like money of kiddushin. It's the same thing. It's equal. $1,000 and saying something. I'm giving this animal to hegdish is like I made a kinyan with money. Says the Gemara. Oh, well, listen to this. This is Mario. This is a little bit of what you were saying. That the person made a condition. I'm gonna marry you, or he said I'm gonna make this animal a noila in 30 days. And on day 15, he said, "No way, I don't want to. I don't want it. I want to take back my neder, my promise." Could he? Could you break a kedushin like that? Could you break the carbon like that? What's the answer, Hillel? That's right. See? Shas Yidden over here. Pashat Shas Yidden. Says the Gemara. So the way I'm if you could take back the kedushin, I make a deal with a woman. I'm going to marry her after 30 days. Could I take it back? Could she take it back? Wait a minute. You have a minute. Okay. Even according to the Maimonides, it says that you could annul that promise of kiddushin. Wait a minute. When it comes to kachim, you cannot annul it. So let's just do one or two lines here, and I want to tell you why. We're not going to do the whole story. I just want to read it. Yosef Ravavin, Reb Yitzchak, Berebi, Kamei de Reb Yirmiyah, v'kamen namneim Reb Yirmiyah. So this is one of the questions I asked in Shas Yidden, and I said, how many times they say in Shas kamen namneim, and they threw it out there. And then I really showed them this. I want to show you this piece of art of Yoshi. He did actually better ones than this. This is not his best one because this one I only gave him an hour to do, and it was literally right before. Show it to you on the screen. So basically, you see a kamen namneim. He's dozing off here, and I showed them the three sugyas. There's three kamen namneims here. I don't see it so well on the screen. Oh, here, better. This one over here is our sugya, where a guy gives a woman, what do you see? 2 coins, not one, two kiddushins. So, real quickly, I thought about it this morning, and I didn't talk it over with my chaverim here, the board of MDY. But I was thinking to myself, this is going to be here. Hold it. This is going to be a big game changer for MDY. This beautiful art is going to enhance the level of excitement and enjoyment of learning Torah. It's going to be gewaldic. So it's a very big salary. Take on Yoshi. And I was thinking to myself that maybe, as an idea, you could throw out ideas. Maybe we should, if somebody wants to sponsor, let's say the month of the art, we'll put his name. We'll put a Leilu Nishmas on the bottom of every piece of art. Maybe I won't announce it, but it'll be there. And if we ever print a book of the art, it'll be there forever and ever. If somebody wants to donate a day, a week, I think the month will be $5,000 a month, a week $1,000 a week, and $180 for the day, for the art. You get to sponsor, what?
For weeks should be 15.
Oh yeah, that doesn't make sense. $5,000. No, because we have to cover the cost basically. We're trying to cover the cost. Okay, $1,500 a week. So, but $180 a day doesn't make sense either. But okay, we'll have to figure it out. I am throwing it out. This morning. All right, I'll show you the art real quickly if you want to see real quickly. Here, look at this. This is what he did in one day. He did this art in 24 hours. This is a guy, hold on a second. He's sitting on a shovel and the Arab tells him, get up, I need the shovel. And then I said, put the belzer in there. This is what he did. I'm not joking, within a half hour. This is the belzer. This is exactly what the belzer looks like. We had this picture. I told him, change it to Hasidim and the screaming. So he changed it. This is, he hit somebody two people in one shot. This is the flying camel. He changed it to Hasidic guy. This is the Eved, and I asked the question, what's the name of this Eved? His name is Menyumi. Here's another. This is the same Eved. I told him this in one day. I said, make me a fish that looks like a goat. This is what he did. This is a camel dancing on a cod, and I put the Shas Yidden over there, all in one day. This brand new piece of art, he did all in within 24 hours. There's two geese that resemble two Amoraim, schlepping the clothes, glima from Rav Papa or whatever. And here's that other piece of art. So anyways, I think it's very well worth it. Huh?
Yosef. Starting with
Yosef, yeah. Have a wonderful day. Otherwise I'll have to go back tomorrow and repeat the end of the shir and say have a wonderful day. Yeah.